Am I the only one who, upon hearing that teleportation is an option, thinks it's time to steal all the things? Preferably art, but then I wouldn't know who to sell it to, so maybe steal all the food instead. Yes, but am I the only one who thinks of this first when it comes to teleportation? Welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm Kat, and today I would like to talk about the book of the month for the Diversity is Lit book club, which is Wings of Ebony by Elle. I will link the book club discussion in the info card and in the description below, in case you're interested in a more in-depth discussion of this book. Rue returns home a year after her mother was shot, and her absent father showed up to take her to Ghizon, his home and a nation of mages, where she learns to use her own magic. Like all Ghizonians, she has obsidian stones embedded into her wrists, which allow her to use her magic in the first place. One pitfall is that Ghizonians are not allowed to touch anybody outside of the nation, because with just one touch you would pass on all of your memories to whoever you're touching. When Rue goes back home to check on her younger sister, she has no choice but to touch Tasha to save her from a car wreck. Equipped with Rue's memories of Ghizon, Tasha now has a big target on her back. So Rue puts everything on the line to protect her sister, and while she's juggling those two lives between Eastro in our world and Ghizon in her father's world, she discovers that not all is as it seems in Ghizon either. For one, Rue discovers that the increased crime rates back in Eastro are tied to something that's happening in Ghizon. Overall, this was a fun read with a likable protagonist, and only a few issues, including one pet peeve creeping up for me again. Always with pet peeves. There are a couple of spots in the book where things don't quite add up for me. So in one instance, somebody is supposed to question Rue to find out who she touched and who they need to eliminate or capture. This person has been given a truth serum, which Rue swipes the first chance she gets. But then in the scene, she's just being taken somewhere else to do something to her, but nobody even asks her who she touched or may have touched. Which I found a bit confusing, because, okay, the person in question was trying to help her, but surely they have to tell their superiors something after. And then the bigger issue for me, I think, is Rue repeatedly tells you that she knows how to throw down or how to fight. But I never read why she knows this. Like, she doesn't seem to have martial arts as a hobby or anything. She just knows how to defend herself, which in and by itself would be fine. But then she fights somebody, she's on the ground, this person has a sword, swings at her, and she manages to fend them off and push them over onto the ground. And I'm like, if you're an average sized girl with no particular martial arts experience, then your odds against this ex-army person are roughly zero. Had she used her magic in this instance, fine, that would have been something different, but it sounded just like a physical altercation from her side in that particular moment, and I don't see it. While I understand that safety may come in groups, I feel like her grand plan at the end has a couple of holes, starting with the one where she takes plenty of people along that would then just serve as a meat shield. I don't think that's what she actually intends, but that's how I read it. It's like, yeah, I'm just taking all of these people along. It's like, oh, so they can stand in the line of fire for you? Or to be fair, she comes from a neighborhood where you can't trust cops at all, so I mean, who else are you gonna turn to? And as I said, my pet peeve is creeping up in this story. Rue runs into her ex, Julius, who seems to have improved since they broke up, and there's still a spark going there. He makes it pretty obvious that he's still interested, and towards the very end you can tell that she still has feelings as well. But then at the same time she also met somebody new near Ghizon, which was also a bit of a romance that developed very quickly. But anyway, she met somebody near Ghizon as well, And now I fear that there might be a love triangle coming up in the next book, and I'm just like, oh no, just, I don't know, flip a coin if you have to, just pick and leave me alone with the, ooh, who should I pick? Now the one thing that quite frankly annoyed me a bit, there was too much stuttering. To my knowledge, nobody in this book has a speech impediment, so it's not that, it's just showing hesitation in speech. And if it was just like the first word of that line of dialogue, that would be fine, but it is repeated quite often and to the point that I picked up on it every single time, was just like, oh, delete it, please. I know that's nitpicky, but you know, if it's something that takes you out of the story or it makes you hesitate to be annoyed at something, then I think it's still worth mentioning, and this was one of those things for me. The world building, both in Eastro and Ghizon, was quite atmospheric and interesting, but it did leave me with a couple of questions. Apparently magic and technology work together quite well, up to the point where Rue's friend can hack magic and check why somebody's magic is disabled through those obsidian stones in their wrists. And I would have liked more details on how this exactly works, how magic hooks into technology and makes more stuff possible. There's also the thing when she describes the city in Ghizon, like the main square, it sounds more like New York Times Square with like big screens. Everything seems rather modern, but then the whole society is split into castes essentially, and one of them is doing mining, and from the way some of these people were described, it sounds like they're just going in there and doing mining by hand with pickaxes, like not even last century but the century before. I would have thought that a nation that can combine magic and technology this well would have come up with better solutions to mine obsidian. But then again, this is also part of the Chancellor's plan to keep people in line, so that might also be happening on purpose. But still, some things were very high technology and other things weren't at all, and I was like, is this the balance this place would have if magic and technology existed at the same time? I don't know, I would have liked more details still, even though the world building was already interesting and engaging. So overall, this was an enjoyable read with a couple of issues, at least for me, but I might just be nitpicky. Plus, my pet peeve might be turning up in book 2. I hope it doesn't. I really hope this is just like an inkling at the very end, and she's just like, no, I like this new guy, I'm done, and we can deal with it in one paragraph in the next book. Would be nice, but I can't tell you. If you're looking for a strong-willed black teenage lead and magic, this might be the book for you. So overall, it's this cat for me, and I will be picking up the second book for whenever it turns up, because I might have to wait for a while now. The downside of reading books as they come out. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments what you would be doing with teleportation if you had the option. Well, like and subscribe if you want to help this channel out, and I'll be back next week with another video. Bye guys!